What's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. I know this is a little bit out of the normal from our regular podcast posts, but this is something I think Matt and I are going to start to implement a little bit more as far as some of the content that we're going to release. A little bit shorter form videos on things that we find relevant or important when going over mental performance in sports or in life. And this first topic that I'm going to talk about is something that's near and dear to my heart. That's alluded to by the title of this video called Push the Car. So, this ideology that we're going to talk about today is something that I found in a book, and the reason why it's close to my heart is because the book was written by my cousin Thomas Pearson, and it's a chapter in the book that I'm going to review and kind of talk with you, and I'm excited to do that. For those of you that don't know, my cousin Thomas Pearson was a year older than me, but he died in February of 2022. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but he was murdered in February of 2022. And before that, he had written a book, and it's titled The Sun Works Great in New Jersey. It's actually about the solar industry within the state of New Jersey, which is funny because reading the book, I personally have no desire to continue to learn about, I guess, solar in New Jersey. That's not really a passion of mine. But I like rereading the book, because it kind of reminds me of my cousin, and reading a lot of the sentences that he wrote. I can hear it in his voice, and it's kind of comforting a lot of the times when I need some extra motivation or inspiration. I like to read the book. I like to go through some of the chapters, and recently I was going through the chapters of the book, and some of it I skimmed through when he's talking about specific things within the solar industry. But then it's interesting because some of the other chapters speak to me a little bit more. Specifically, chapter 6 within the book titled Push the Car. And I was surprised to see that this chapter is very mindset based, very relevant to kind of the space that Matt and I have dug ourselves into. So it was cool and kind of caught me by surprise, and it's something I wanted to share with everyone and kind of talk about. So the ideology of the Push the Car chapter that my cousin Tommy went into was talking about, on your journey when you're going to a place where you want to go to, when you're headed somewhere, when you have a goal for something that you want to achieve. It's this idea that you're in this car and you're on the way to where you want to go, right? You're making sure everything's okay, engine's right, you're traveling in your car, and you're on the highway getting to where you need to go. And then, you know, sometimes the travel's not going to be so smooth. And what happens when your car does break down? Um, are you going to quit? Are you going to be done? Are you going to stop heading to where you think that you need to go? And the idea of push the car is when the car does die, when you run into issues with the car, are you going to be the person that gets out and pushes the car where you need to go? Or are you going to be the person that struggles and waits in the car and doesn't finish the job that you think that you're meant to do? Um, and that was a big message within this chapter. And one of the messages he says, one of the sentences is, whatever it takes for as long as it takes, is what he said his motto was, both in solar sales and in life as a whole. And I think it's a really special message, one, not just because it's my cousin and someone who was really close to me, and is in my heart, but it's a good thought process when you're looking at anything in both sports and life. When you're on your journey, not everything's going to go according to plan. And a lot of the episodes and a lot of the guests that we've had, they've all said that their journey has taken some crazy twists and turns. And, in this scenario, their theoretical car has broken down plenty of times on the way to getting where they want to go. And a lot of them have not said it directly, but of course, in this ideology, got out of the car and pushed the car themselves to get where they need to go. It's that determination when your back's against the wall, nothing's going right, it's persevering through and pushing through, making sure you're doing everything that you possibly can to continue, keep moving forward, and get exactly where you want to go. But I think this was a really cool idea, a really cool topic in the book, something that really spoke to me, especially, continuing to do this podcast, continuing to put out content and interview a lot of people. I think it's a good idea when we run into issues, when we run into things that might not be going the way we want them to, in anything. I think it's important to get out of the car, keep persevering, do everything that you can in your power, put all your effort into something, and then good things will happen. So get out of that car when it's not working, go push the car, and physically get it to where you need to go. And I think that's a strong message, and something I'm really glad to be able to share.